Our robot vacuum drew a map of his shoes. The app pinged me with a cheeriness that felt like a dare. New obstacles detected. Tap to view. Our robot vacuum thinks it's an explorer. It sends me little bragging maps, tidy blue rectangles for rooms, polite gray lines for routes it calls successful. It also snaps pictures of whatever blocks its path, chair legs, forgotten socks, with the privacy-shattering enthusiasm of a toddler with a stamp. I tapped. The first photo was harmless, a tangle of charging cables under the couch we pretend to manage. The second was less so, a pair of boots I didn't own, heavy leather, dark salt stains like they'd been somewhere a little tragic. The timestamp read 1:12 a.m. The third picture caught the edge of a belt on the floor beside our bed. The buckle turned toward the camera as if to say a mechanical hello. The vacuum had helpfully labeled it unknown object. The fourth was the worst because it was nothing. Just the baseboard in our hallway and a shadow of two people moving past, blurred enough to be plausible, distinct enough to hate. Lena was asleep when the robot had done its field work. She had texted at 11. We're locking picture now. Might stay to polish the grade. Don't wait up. I didn't wait, but the vacuum had. It had learned a new room, too. My app now showed a neat little box off the bedroom it called Closet 2. We only have one closet. The algorithm was improvising geography. I stared at the boot photo until it stopped being evidence and became an admission in a language I didn't want to speak. The robot's route lines looped confidently around the bed like a witness tracing the perimeter of a decision. In the morning, the vacuum decided to meet me halfway. It trundled out from its dock with the faux dignity of a pet that owns stock in your patience. Starting cleaning, geofence triggered, the app announced. Geofence is supposed to start a run when Lena leaves the apartment for work. The map showed a new trigger. Guest device, Max's iPhone. I set the robot back to its dock like I was putting a child in timeout. I made coffee with the methodical care of a person who wants their hands busy while their head rehearses. When Lena shuffled in, hair slanting into honesty, she reached for me on autopilot. I let her, because the body is rude about loyalty. Our explorer found boots at 1:12, I said. I kept my voice calm, a tabletop strong enough to set the truth on. She looked at the mug, then at the phone, then at the little robot glowing like a snitch and nodded once. Okay, she said. The word didn't perform, it sat upright. I'm sorry. His name, I said, aiming at mercy by asking for nouns. Max, she said. From color, she swallowed, a small private choreography. We stayed late, twice. He walked me home because the street was attempting a metaphor. He came in because we said sentences we didn't want the hallway to learn. I told the robot not to start at night and then forgot I'd given it the power to start when I left. I taught it his phone so it wouldn't vacuum the doorstop when you know. Do you love him? The ugliest clean question I own. I don't know, she said. Her mouth did the thing where it refused to sell me a discounted version. I loved being looked at by someone who doesn't know my worst drawer. I love you. I hate that I turned our floor plan into a map of lying. The robot blinked politely. The plant on the sill leaned toward light because plants keep an easy religion. A month, I said. Pause, you at Maya's, me at Liam's. Ugly chair therapy. No rooms without windows. The robot learns only us. Sundays we meet in fluorescent places and answer two questions we won't enjoy. She nodded like she'd been waiting for a structure that could hold her weight. When did you want to run? She said. When did you want to stay? Yes, I said, those ones. We packed the survivable nouns. She took the hoodie that shrinks her into the reason my hands exist. I took the plant because I wanted something that only ever leans toward truth. At the door, she steadied my face with thumb and forefinger the way you straighten a crooked frame. Can I? You can kiss me, I said, as fact. We kissed the kind that leaves a room standing. My hand slid under her shirt and found the warm strip above her waistband. Her breath did the private double at my ear that has kept me from quitting most of the gods I don't believe in. We stopped because we were proud of the version of us that does. Liam's couch graduated me in the discipline of not inventing scenes. He gave me a blanket and the television like a bandage you can aim at noise. I slept like a dimmer switch someone respected. At noon, my phone buzzed with a number that arrived apologetic. This is Max. I'm stepping off the cut. If you want to see the person and not the floor plan, I'll be at the bench by the canal at 3. He was there early because competence beats honesty on speed. He wore a coat that didn't try too hard and a face that had recently met its outline. He didn't offer a hand. He let me sit first. I'm stepping back, he said again, as if he'd practiced saying it to pictures of himself. Not for credit, because nobody should learn architecture by inventing closets. Switch floors, I said. Don't be geography. Don't give my robot new nouns. He nodded, a small bow to exactness. No cameo, he said. It sounded like a rule he wanted me to know he'd follow without applause. Therapy is conducted in a room that refuses the camera. Mismatched chairs, a rug whose stain looks like the country you move to when you run out of stories, a window that insists on honest light. The therapist asked for verbs that work at lunch. Lena said, I wanted to be admired for occupying space, not for being efficient. I said, I wanted trust to be a subscription with auto-renew. We did smaller math too. Who buys coffee and who keeps it from going bitter? Who apologizes in words and who stacks dishes like penance? Who texts first? Who forgets the robot and who teaches it our names? We left with faces that had done work and spines that remembered why standing is a skill. In week 2, I met Myra on purpose by accident, as if the city sends bench people when you stop auditioning. She was feeding birds the park sign asked her not to feed. Bad device, she asked without looking up. Robot vacuum drew a crime scene, I said. They're toddlers with knives, she said, and laughed in a way that made me forgive the afternoon. We walked the long loop, saying true things at a humane pace. She told me about a husband who could inventory love but not provide it. I told her about boots and rectangles and me trying to respect my own hands. At the corner where the streetlight forgives everyone equally, we kissed once. Not a dare. A pulse. My hand found her shoulder with a permission I could defend. Her mouth learned my pace and declined to sell me speed. We stopped while stopping still felt like craft. Choose ordinary, she said. It pays better than drama. On Sundays, Lena and I met under vicious fluorescent mercy and did our 2 questions. She wanted to run when a client wrote, let's make it pop, and meant, let's remove sleep from your vocabulary. She wanted to stay when she pictured us old and tyrannically tender about which jar is for rice. I wanted to run when a hardware store window displayed new doorbells and my stomach auditioned for a hallway scene. I wanted to stay when I pictured her hand under my shirt in the kitchen for no reason, except that my body was present, and hers had decided to honor it. The robot kept asking to help. Home or away, it prompted needy. I opened settings and renamed every room. Bedroom stayed bedroom. Living room stayed living. Closet 2 became nothing. I deleted guest device, Max's iPhone, and set the geofence to me and Lena, and a future none of our appliances would be allowed to predict. On day 19, she texted a screenshot without caption. Removed. Max. On day 22, I walked past our building at dusk and watched the vacuum through the window bump into the coffee table and try again. It felt like a parable I could afford. On day 30, Lena came home with one bag and a face that invited the house to remember how to be a house. We made tea. We let the kitchen's honest bulb refuse cinematic assistance. The plant angled itself toward our decision. "Rebuild," she said. "Rebuild," I said. "Slow, no monuments. We date each other in our apartment like rent is due and kindness is the return. We schedule boredom. We report temptation like weather. If a machine tries to narrate us, we teach it silence or the names we choose. We kissed like a handshake and then like a key we kept. In the bedroom, we undressed the way competent people tidy rooms they plan to see again in the morning. My mouth found the warm strip at her waist. Her breath did the double in my ear. We kept it day safe, honest, greedy enough to be alive and considerate enough to be proud after. We stopped where we promised. Satisfaction lived without applause. We wrote rules on an index card and taped it inside the robot's dock like a superstition with bite. No rooms without windows. No second names in first mouths. If a bill arrives for a night we didn't live, read it together. If hands itch to perform, put them on onions. Cry for honest reasons or at least while cooking. Max sent one last text, a receipt with no tip line, no cameo. I wrote back none. Myra sent a photo of a bench at noon with the caption, "Choose ordinary, earn heat." I told her we were trying. She sent a heart that looked like it had already paid rent. We named the plant, not mercy, not forgive, map, because it leans toward whatever light we choose and because it can't lie about directions. The bend is either there or it is. The robot went back to being an appliance. It draws diagrams that look like patience. Last night, while the water bullied the pasta and the city tried to sell itself with neon, Lena stepped behind me and slid her hands under my t-shirt, palms warm on my stomach with the authority of someone renewing their lease. We swayed without music. The robot rolled from its dock, scanned the room, decided to learn nothing, and went still. "This is my favorite route," she said into my neck. "It's the only map I'll follow," I said. We ate. We were dumb about Parmesan. We laughed at a nothing until it became a story. Later, we brushed our teeth like colleagues proud of their benefits. In bed, she turned toward me. The room learned our names again, and somewhere in the apartment a machine that once tried to tell on us practiced humility, which is to say, it listened.